Hello, 40K here once more, and in today's video I am going to take a look at Warhammer 40K Dawn of War. So, I'm a huge Warhammer fan. Just about the only thing that I don't partake in when it comes to the franchise is their tabletop. However, when I first played Dawn of War, I had no idea what Warhammer was, and I mostly stuck to the Command and Conquer series for my RTS fix. It just so happened that one day I came home early from school and watched what I imagined was an X-Play rerun that featured Dawn of War. It's not so much what they were saying that caught my eye, it's what they were showing. Orcs, space marines, and explosions. What more could I ask for? Even though I wasn't entirely sure what space marines or an orcs with a Z was. Anyways, that weekend I went out to buy the game and I was hooked. Today, I'm going to go and take a look back at the original game that hooked me on the franchise and see if it holds up in 2019. In terms of presentation, it took some adjusting to, but the look and sound of the game are as enjoyable as I remembered. Admittedly, I'm taking into account that the game was originally released in 2004, and while graphically the game is pretty dated, overall the look and sound still managed to hold my attention as I played through the campaign. None of the sounds got annoying, and visually the game still was captivating. I still enjoyed seeing the upgrades on my Space Marine squads, just watching as the occasional Imperial Guardsmen that were provided ran through the city corridors, and eventually just watching as the forces of chaos turned the landscape into a scene straight out of a horror movie. Even the music for the final few campaign missions was appropriately haunting. I still managed to feel like I was diving into the pits of hell, ready to make battle with unholy demons and their corrupt mortal followers. When it comes to the gameplay, well, this game still holds up just fine. The best mechanic is how you can upgrade your very versatile Space Marine squads to basically meet any threat that might come your way. However, it's also the unit variety that really makes the game engaging. Assault Space Marines, Terminators, Scouts, Land Speeders, and even the occasional Limb and Rust tank. Played through the campaign was as fun as I remembered. The same applies to the skirmishes, except there is no Imperial Guard. You have to get the Winter Assault expansion for that, and while technically it is an expansion for this game, I'm not considering it as part of the Dawn of War game on its own. Anyway, burning orcs down with flamers, cutting through chaos with termies, and dropping dreadnoughts when the fighting gets good, the whole experience provided is still very engaging. So, when I originally played this game, I thought it would have a CNC style resource gathering, but while I love my resource gathering, I did find the requisition point and energy accumulation system appropriate for placing the focus on the combat, as this game does, and not on how you're gathering resources. The only negative that I still hold about the game is not being able to easily make the units face the direction you want them to face, but that admittedly is more of a modern convenience that's entirely aesthetic at this point.
The relics have been
So when it comes to immersion, throughout the campaign, you're either supposed to be Gabriel Angelos, or if nothing else, you're watching Gabriel Angelos' story unfold on Tartarus. And while I never felt that I was Angelos, I did feel that I was some sort of Space Marine commander. I almost felt as if I was there. If nothing else, I was actually watching it unfold from a very safe distance when my Space Marines were fighting in the jungles or in the city. There was even a mission where I wasn't so much tasked with saving civilians, but I was at least within the vicinity as civilians were evacuating, and I think the guardsmen had to save them. But anyways, these subtle additions really highlighted something that I felt added to the immersion of the game. It's how the maps have these little elements that if you don't look for, won't really stand out. But when you pay attention, as your scouts are infiltrating an area, you see signs of chaos, bodies on the ground, and of course the craters you can use as covers. I felt these small elements added not only to the immersion, but the interactivity and engagement with each mission throughout the campaign. The same can be said about the maps in the skirmish mode when you're playing against AIs. Each of them has their own unique feel. After a while, I played this game to death originally, and the maps just kind of started to seem... They were definitely never the same, but you start to ignore these small elements that you just take for granted after you've played them a few, I would say, hundreds times perhaps. In regards to longevity, well, it still holds up in my book. Admittedly, the multiplayer is dead now, But there is still the very enjoyable campaign and skirmishes against the AI that held me for roughly 2 days. I really enjoyed just playing the campaign because I prefer the Dark Crusade skirmishes when I'm looking for a Dawn of War AI match. Technically, Dark Crusade is an expansion of Dawn of War, in much the same lines as Winter Assault, but this video is exclusively about Dawn of War without the expansions. Ultimately, the campaign is still fun, and it thoroughly held me down for the whole day just playing the campaign itself. So I think the game still holds up pretty well. Well, again, at least the campaign. If I'm looking for a skirmish, then I'm probably going to have to go out and use one of the expansions, Dark Crusade, maybe Soulstorm. So now we move to Pass Judgment, and the verdict is no exterminatus will be necessary. So when I first played this game, I would have easily given it a high score and probably only complained about the length of that campaign because I just wanted to keep playing it for more. However, it's been roughly 15 years since its initial release, so a rating really isn't necessary. Anyone who's played this game knows how great it is. Anyone who hasn't played this game, I would say if you like RTS, period, play this game. It's great, if only for the campaign. And then if you like the skirmishes, you might move on to get the expansions. The question for me, it's really, can it still be enjoyed for what it is? Or does it need to be wiped off of any hard drive that it's found? The answer is clear. It's still enjoyable for what it is, and I had plenty of fun playing the campaign for the day that I played it. And admittedly, I did just kind of rush through it. That being said, if anyone really wants to maximize their pump and truly enjoy the game, I would get the expansions added as well. Anyway, that wraps it up for me. See you next time, and remember to always purge heresy wherever it might arise. Thanks for watching, and the Emperor protects.